Hello, everyone. I'm just going to give it a couple of moments to let you all join the webinar. Have you all settle in? See some of you already joining. Perfect. Hello, welcome everyone. Going to give it a couple more moments, more seconds to let you all have the opportunity to join. And we will start. So would like to welcome you to our online seminar today from WAPES, the World Association of Public Employment Services, on skills development and public employment services. And we will explore today the different approaches of all our colleagues in Germany, France, and Morocco, and how their institutions support and train the skills of their public employment services there. So I have the honor of being your moderator today. My name is Nicole Klobis, but I will not only the only one to moderate. I will be also doing this together with my colleague Thierry Hurt. We are both seconded from our public employment services, seconded from the German Public Employment Service, Bundesagentur für Arbeit, and my colleague Thierry is seconded from the French Public Employment Service, which is France Travail. And we have the pleasure of moderating this today. So this seminar will last around 1 hour. It will be conducted today in English and French, but you have the opportunity to listen in your language, either English, French, or Spanish. We have interpretation, and just would like to emphasize that there's a little globe on the bottom of your Zoom page, and you can choose your language. And also you can suppress the original tone language on the little button down there, so that you feel convenient, that you feel comfortable and can just listen to your language. Also, this will be recorded, and we will put this webinar today on our Waves TV YouTube channel later. Also, we will give you the opportunity to already look into the presentations. We'll put them in the chat in English, French, or Spanish, so that you also can read the presentations in your language. You can also see that all your microphones are muted, and this is not that you cannot ask any questions. You can ask your questions in the chat. You can write them in the chat. We will be translating them, and hopefully we'll have a little bit of time after the presentations of our presenters today to get to our presenters and ask them some questions. I would like to move to our speakers of today, and we are super excited because this is a very multicultural webinar today. We have speakers from Germany, France, and Morocco, and I'm very, very honored, and it's my big pleasure to introduce to you also one of my colleagues from Germany, Dr. Michael Jäger. He's a senior expert leadership, and he is working and coordinating the leadership development of the Bundesagentur für Arbeit in the German Public Employment Service, the Bundesagentur für Arbeit. And also Mr. Abdel Haq Nasheed. He's the National Director of Service Relation and Deputy Head of Human Resources and Social Relations at France Travail. And then also we have one of our speakers from Morocco, Mr. Sharafeddin Bourlem. He's the head of Partnership and Cooperation Division and the project coordinator of the Academy of Excellence in ANAPEC. So wonderful to have you all here. We're super excited that you're doing the presentation today and have prepared for this today. We will do one presentation after the other. But I would like to give the word first over to Mr. Jäger, who will be speaking about the Führungsakademie, the Leadership Academy of Germany.
Well, thank you, Nicole, for the very, very friendly introduction. And I'm honored to have the opportunity to tell a little bit, not more than 10, 12 minutes, about what we are doing at the Leadership Academy. I've sent a couple of slides, and I kindly ask to start them. Thank you very much. I can see the slides now. So my talk will be focused around the leadership part in education. Now, why do I choose only to address leadership? Well, in Germany, we have the privilege and the task to have round about 8,500 leadership personnel within our public employment service. So this is there's strength in numbers, and we do need to have a very thorough approach on leadership development. And I am overseeing the team that does all the design of the leadership development for the German PES. So we do need to separate a little bit what we're doing, um, uh, addressing the different levels of leadership we do have within the German PES. So there are the entry-level leadership personnel, and these are catered by the Competence Center. So this is around about 7,500 people. And we do need a thorough strategy to address all of them. So this will be very much concept-based work we're doing, and then rolling out into all of Germany what these leadership personnel is supposed to learn and how they are supposed to behave. And on the right-hand side on this slide, you see um, the part that addresses the upper management level. It's around about 700. Um, so we have a separate approach to address these leadership personnel. Everything that we do is based on a leadership model, and we show this on the next slide. Thank you. The leadership model is, and sorry for having a couple of German words in there. The leadership model is based on ambidextrous leadership or two-handed leadership. So what we're trying to achieve is excellence in the day-to-day business as well as in the part where we look into future business, what comes next. And our thinking is that to be able to sustain the business, our task over a prolonged time, we do need to be able to be excellent today as well as have always one hand grasping the future. That is basically what this model tries to say. And we're doing this by structuring and supporting our personnel. This is the bottom half of the picture. And we do this by looking for results and shaping the future. And this is the upper half of the picture. So basically, this is the leadership model that all of the leadership personnel, regardless of their level and their responsibilities, are supposed to follow. Next slide, please. We basically have a very strong focus on self-service. So this is our online program where leadership personnel can simply click and choose their, based on their leadership, their learning needs, can choose their courses. Some of them are virtual, some of them are on site. So this is just to show what the leadership personnel can choose from. And yeah, thank you. Now, to go a little bit more into detail, I prepared 4 aspects. First, I want to show you the aisle of professional development. This is an overview chart of all the learning experiences we designed and developed within the PES. And then I'll show you 3 examples. From Expert to Leader is a program that helps personnel change their roles from an expert-based working environment to a leadership responsibility. Keeping the Lead is a program that helps long-term leadership personnel, um, well, a little bit rekindle their the spirit and bring them up to speed on newer developments they might have missed because they're doing the job for a very long time without getting constant renewal of their skills. So keeping the lead is just sharpening the knives again. And the trainee program, as the last example, this is an entry-level leadership program designed for personnel that we hire from outside markets. So let's let's take a look at the aisle of professional development, and this is the core, the centerpiece of the presentation. And I will take a little more time to explain what you're seeing here. We try to find a visual representation of all the relevant steps and tasks uh, people have to or can and have to can do to develop their respective skills and to choose the appropriate roles and tasks they can do within the German PES. Let's start at the left hand. You see there, there's the bay of arrival. At some point, people enter our organization, and there there might be the blue part, the path of education. So this is the general education part, where, for example, you learn how to counsel, you learn how the legal environment in which you're working. We do have our own university study, so you can study within BA. You can have a education. Sometimes it's also possible to get sponsored study outside of the German PES. Um, and of course, we have the management trainee program. This is the part I'll show you later a little more into detail. Um, while you're within BA, you can see the center part, this center of orientation. This is centered around the competency model we have in place. This is our basic setup for designing all learning experiences. So they're based on competencies, and all our learning experiences somehow contribute to these competencies. And we describe all our tasks, all our jobs within the framework of these competencies. So there are some aspects to assess competencies, and the green, the brown, and the yellow path that is circling around this centerpiece, they describe now different ways to develop your competencies. So the yellow part would be the regular learning of day-to-day tasks, um, something like, well, work shadowing, meaning I'm just trying out a new task. I'm following a colleague on the daily basis just to see how this work is done. I can have formal qualifications. I can have individual learning support, um, secondment commissioning. So parts where I, for a certain aspect of time, do a new job and then get back to what I was doing before. So the yellow part is learning in general. The brown part and the bottom right half of the or segment of the page, this is the specialist career path. So if I'm not into leadership, but I want to develop a more responsible into more responsible jobs or a higher responsibility, for example, leading projects, which is not a main leadership part in the system of the German PES. I could go into this specialist career path. So again, I do, for example, project work or project management. I take over the responsibility as a trainer for certain aspects, for certain topics, or I can even attend the master's program. So this is the brown part is centered around the idea of getting more and more knowledge and specialize in a certain area. Now, the green part, this is the leadership journey. And we start the leadership journey with a very open address on directed at all personnel, just to check, is leadership generally a thing that could be feasible for me, that I could aspire for. It's called desire for guidance or desire for leadership. So I'm just trying out, is leadership something that I can try out? I have the opportunity to be representation in absentia. That is, I'm just the deputy head of some department and trying out the responsibility there. I can have mentoring and coaching as well. And we do have the internal management trainee program. This is quite new actually, and it's sort of mirrors the management trainee program you see on the left-hand side in the blue circle. All of our regular courses you find in our program we call Digilog, which is just an artificial word. We say it's digital and analog at the same time. So we try to coin a new phrase and named it Digilog. We do have a program for the top performers, and it's called Top. We do have the opportunity to manage projects on a larger scale, which then again would mean taking over a higher leadership position. And the I'm not sure about other countries, but we definitely have a strong urge for reducing working hours, even in leadership personnel. So there are a lot of people that feel I could take a leadership job, but it's too demanding. It takes too much time. So we try to give them the chance to still perform in a very good way in a leadership position. That's why we have management in reduced working hours as an separate program established. And changing the career path from the brown specialist career path to the green one, leadership. This is from expert to leader. And after this short overview, I'm just show you a couple of 3 examples. So expert to leader would be the first one. And as you can see, all of our programs are put together with similar intent. So we do have a face-to-face training session as well as online trainings. We do have buddy learning groups. We try to have so-called Digi Snacks, which is self-learning content that is based or that is given within our network. And the curriculum follows a certain order. An example is on the next page, I think. So 3 modules, the scope, there's 3 modules, 15 days, and 16 hours of online training, self-study modules. So you see expert to leader is basically a curriculum following a time frame of around about 7 months. Um, and we change between the online and the face-to-face segments. Guess I need to speed up a little. So let's jump to the next slide, please. Keeping the lead. This is for experienced team lead personnel who had their last refresher or refreshment training a long time ago. So this is bringing people again up to speed on current leadership topics, on concepts they might only um, have read about, and now they need to reflect on what they're doing in their day-to-day leadership work, as well as get accustomed to new project management or new leadership techniques. Again, it's built in quite the same way. So we do have buddy groups as well as online and face-to-face. So and skip to the last example, please, which is the trainee program. Now, this is a longer program designed for people that we hire from outside universities with the goal of taking over a middle management position in quite a short time. As you can see, it's a 9-month program, and it's we do have theoretical inputs. We do have practical working phases as a team lead and as in the middle management after 6 months. So what we're trying to do is reflecting on the established practices as well as giving theoretical input over this time frame of 9 months. And looking at my time frame, I see that I might have talked a little too long. I hope at least I could give you a glimpse of what we are up to in terms of leadership development in the German PES. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jäger, for this very comprehensive overview, even though we have only a short time for each speaker. I know that there's much more to this, but thank you so much for really wrapping this into a nutshell and talking about training of public employment staff at all levels, really, in the Bundesagentur für Arbeit. Thank you so much. And also, I told you all that you can raise your questions in the chat. If we might not have the time to answer all of these questions, we will get back to these questions later via written form. So please don't hesitate to put your question in the chat. So thank you so much, Dr. Jäger, again. And I would like to give the word over to my colleague Thierry Hoort, because I would like to switch to the ones that need to switch now, that because the next couple of minutes will be spent in French original tone. So just that you are all aware of this. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Nicole. So we will switch in French. Bonjour, on va maintenant switcher en français.
Hello, we'll now speak in French. So let me, without further ado, introduce my colleague, as I also come from France Travail, as Nicole explained earlier on. We'll introduce Mr. Adrak Nashit, who is who is National Director of Service Relations, Deputy Head of Human Resources and Social Relations at France Travail, who's the French part of the BES. So, Mr. Abdelhak Nashit, you have the floor. Thank you, Thierry. I hope you can hear me clearly. So, yes, we will share the leadership initiative from France Travail to the creation of an academy. So, many thanks, Amandine, for displaying the presentation. We can go to the next slide, please. And the next slide, even as I will straight away show you that leadership initiative, first of all, this is supported by a legal reform, legislation reform, that created a France Travail almost 18 months ago now. So within that creation, the legislator had reminded that France Travail is an important operator for the French public service, and it gave us the task to create an academy and to take the lead, or at least the initiative and impulsion of an academy, which can be shared. So we will talk about a leadership, and this is in complement to what Dr. Jagger mentioned. This is a leadership that is shared with other partners in order to share together some actions around skills development. So within the legislation, it states that we have through the creation of France Travail Academy to support on a daily basis the professionals who work on the professional integration, and this is wider than the France Travail teams. There are many goals through this academy. The academy, first of all, aims to create a common culture, a professional culture that is supported by all of the actors of the public employment service, and also it is tasked with developing skills and cooperations between the territories. This is a strong dynamic, and therefore we wish for the actions to start from the ground, and we want to strengthen and enhance this cooperation with the territories. And this is also a place of inspiration, innovation, and sharing between professionals. And this academy also needs to adapt to the needs of the territories. We have some territories with several different issues linked to rurality, linked to mobility, linked to qualifications of the publics being integrated, and therefore it's important to be able to support the territorial specificities, and therefore the goal within that academy is to offer skills development, which is developed and built by the employment network and for the employment network, and therefore this is what I would call a participative academy. And on the next slide, and this academy is for the common good, and we will now see the main four guiding principles of this academy. First of all, it is about designing and co-constructing in direct collaboration with the network of employment players to meet the needs of professionals as a priority. The second principle is to be able to be in a test and learn mode, which means that we're totally conscious that this academy will be able to evolve. It will be able to be assessed also upon the expectations from our users being the professionals for the academy who support the job seekers, and therefore this is the goal of this test and learn. The second principle, which is to experiment and test the training actions with the professionals. The third principle is about taking advantage of the latest innovations, technology innovations, including AI, because we are convinced that this could be a factor of skills development, and this could add some support to the professionals, to support within the PES. And finally, this academy is a common asset for employment and network professionals in a participatory mode. On this slide that you have on the screen now, we will remind you what are the main axes for the training offer that we develop within the France Travail Academy. The first axis, and it's important, this is that when we work within PES, as we have several actors, some of them support the youngsters. We're talking about mission locale or local mission in France, but these are some structures dedicated to supporting the youngsters. We also have some structures dedicated to supporting the managers and others supporting people with disability. And the first axis, therefore, is about getting to know the employment network and have a better knowledge of the various actors within the PES in order to be able to support the practice around common acts. And we are convinced that a professional supporting a youngster or a job seeker or a middle manager can do a number of actions and professional actions which are common within the PES. And the main idea is to be able to develop this practice whilst being inspired by the different professional trades and other colleagues. And the third axis, of course, is to be able to enhance the cooperation between employment network players and the different publics, as well as employments and job seekers, as well as the business world. So this academy nowadays is a digital academy, but yet it also has some face-to-face modules. First of all, let me tell you about the platform that was created last September. So this academy aims also to make sure that this is a gateway for skills development for the actors and stakeholders that we can have within the PES. There are many principles within this academy. We'll start with what you have at the bottom of this slide, which is that it is free. We're a public service, and therefore all of the training actions that we offer through the Académie France Travail are free. The second principle, it consists in having a variety of formats. As I was saying earlier on, this is an academy that is digital, but also face-to-face with face-to-face components, and therefore we'll be able to offer some trainings in e-learning, micro-learnings, with some tutorials or some webinars or keynotes that can also be recorded, and there can be some teaching resources for professionals. So it's free with a variety of formats, and the main principle is that the contents must meet one of the goals that is within the employment service, and the main principle is to contribute to removing what could stop return to employment, and the specific actions or to adapt the local particularities. So all these training actions have the same goals, and of course they are free with a variety of formats, and they can integrate the France Travail Academy gateway. Now, as I was telling you earlier on, the Academy opened last September, so it's quite recent, and the figures that I give you now are at the end of February. Right now, we have 48,000 users rather than 42,800. So we're talking about these 42,800 users of Académie France Travail. We can see that we have more than 36,000 users who are France Travail agents, but also 6,500 users who are from the employment network. Amongst them, we have some important partners for public employment services, which are, for example, Cap Emploi. There are those who deal with the job seekers or who have been recognized as having a disability and some health problems. We also have up to 15% of local missions, and we also have the department advisors, which can support people suffering from social difficulties linked to staff or with integration difficulties, and therefore we also have an important part with associative structures up to 36%, and these are the associations that work on integration, especially through economic activity. So what we note is that this academy is adopted well by the partners with a progression to the tune of 15% amongst the users, and strong progression with the partners with an increase of more than 28% in connection rate. And therefore, this can hit and this can connect with all kinds of publics, and therefore we can talk about the youngsters, people with some difficulties, and so forth. In terms of training actions, it's not a surprise. We're talking about an action in terms of training, as since last January, it is compulsory to register with France Travail for quite a lot of people, and therefore this is an important change. This is supported by the legislation, and therefore it's logical that this training module is a digital module, and therefore this is the most used, and we can see that we have satisfaction rate at 86%, and we have a satisfaction rate of on the various modules that are between 86 and 88%, which is very satisfying. So therefore, this is due to registering, to orientating the various publics, and the orientation means that we must have the support of a job seeker and a user with a well-identified structure, and The engagement notion is also from the job seeker. That's important. These are the first modules that I wanted to comment, and we can note that these modules, and this is one of the principles of the Academy, is that we do not see some training actions from France Travail. We can see that 47% of available content, and we are now have more than 200 available contents, and we can see that almost 1 out of 2 is supported by some partners rendering available some teaching resources for all of the stakeholders of the employment network. And therefore, this is there is a strong level of adoption, as we can see, with 58% of the learners coming on the platform again, as we have an NPS rate, which is important as it's 31, and therefore there is a strong recommendation of the Académie France Travail platform. Now, there is a small video. We will not play it right now, but we can go to the next slide to tell you that this you can get access to this academy. Anyone can get access to it with the people connected to our webinar today. You can scan this QR code in order to get access to it quite easily. And this is open to all of the actors, of course, within the French Public Employment Service, but more widely, as we are dealing with an international webinar, the main idea is to be able to keep on enriching your reflection. It is shared with the PS. I think that it's our philosophy right now, but please don't hesitate to scan this QR code for further support, and we will be able to discover some modules that are accessible for all the professionals of the Pôle emploi network. This concludes my presentation. Thank you. Thank you, Abdelak. Thank you for this presentation. Well, now we're dealing with another model, very open on the partnerships. And now I will say, before going to the questions, I will suggest that we travel, then that we go to Morocco. And therefore, I will now give the floor to Mr. Sharaf Eddin Boulem. He's the head of the Partnership and Cooperation Division at ANAPEC. ANAPEC is the National Agency for Promoting Employment and Skills. This is the Public Employment Service in Morocco, and Mr. Boulem is the head of the project of the Academy Excellence that he will present to you now. Mr. Boulem, you have the floor. Thank you, Thierry. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, dear speaker, Dr. Jager and Mr. Rashid. I have the pleasure to present to you my dear Academy.
Donc, j'ai le plaisir de vous présenter le Centre d'Excellence.
I have the pleasure to present you the Center of Excellence by ANAPEC.
C'est juste après la nomination donc directrice générale au sein de l'ANAPEC.
So,
le centre, il vise donc
I am the head of Partnership and Cooperation Division within ANAPEC. And the Center of Excellence occupies a central place in ANAPEC's 4-year transformation plan. It is designed as a key driver for development and management of human capital, knowledge, and skills, while promoting a culture of excellence and innovation, which is at the heart of our transformation. So, we have 3 main activities, one dealing with training and skills, knowledge and skills transfer, the second axis, which is dedicated to engineering, for conceiving the models, the tools, the applications, and so forth. And this is supported by Lab Innovation. And the third axis dedicated to the research impact, supported by the Research Impact Center. So the presentation will be covering the first axis more than anything, which is the Academy of Excellence and the aim of skills transfer to develop a new business line positions for our transformation with our new orientation regarding the trades.
D'où vient notre plan de formation? Il vient de 3
Where does our training name comes? It comes from 3 sources. The first source is the mapping of the resources that comes from an evaluation, a system assessment of the human resources skills. This is an assessment carried out by managers, and also the needs from our collaborators in order to improve their skills. The second axis is the skills engineering that is developing from the transformation axis, and the third axis or the international standards. So how do we deliver this? We have a presential, face-to-face side, an online side, and now we have launched an academy, which is the E-Excellence Academy, which is on an asynchronous format, which means that people can get access to this and train as they wish. And we have 250 training modules, and these training modules also covers various jobs and trades. They are being developed through this with an expertise of technical assistance that deals with the engineering part and training part. So we have an academy, but we also have 4 circles of excellence, Global Partners Academy, which targets the advisors. The second schools is the management schools. And this also deals with the heads of agencies of central services and regional services. And the third school is the Leadership Academy with the regional directors and heads of divisions. And we also have the central directors for APEC and APEC. And we also have the Global Partners Academy, who are tasked with transferring the skills and offering the training centers to our national and international partners who are in the integration service for the youth, for supporting them and promoting our work. So let's talk a little about the programs from the performance schools for the advisors and managers. So we have some Pôle emploi advisors who have different trades lines. One of them dealing with the international placement. We have one dealing with the entrepreneurial support, one dealing with the intermediation part, and also with strengthening the benefits for the job seekers. And we have a fourth task, which is anything dedicated to business development and serving the employers, which is how to support employers for anything to do with recruitment, integration, engineering, and so forth. So the architecture for the Performance Academy is around 4 phases. For the first phase, we're talking about onboarding. So we have some onboarding events in order to mention the history and missions of ANAPEC and of each mission, the management and networking with the central management units. And also we mention what is the ecosystem, and also we highlight our values. Then after that, we have a global basic training that is based on this. It's last 20 days, and this is the basic training for an advisor that is not specialized at that stage. We're talking about a general advisor, and therefore there are some basic training with some tutorships, and we have some tutors at each department for each department and division to accompany the newly recruited people in their integration and onboarding. And after this phase, we have a cycle of specialization with the managers in order to choose one of the teams according to the needs of the agency and also according to the needs of the advisor. And then afterwards, that person goes through a specialization cycle, and therefore we have to conclude a specialist phase to confirm that position with a perfectionment cycle. And now we have launched 3 sides, and we are planned to have 5 sites.
Donc, ça, c'est une
So
vision globale
this is
sur
a
les
global
formations.
vision
Donc,
about the architecture of
on a
the
l'onboarding,
trainings,
on
and
a
so we have the onboarding, we have the basic cycle.
on a les cycles de
We then have the specialization
Donc,
cycles.
pour les cycles de spécialisation, pour
So
l'international, on a 9 modules. Donc,
for the
2
international
jours.
side,
On a 4 modules
this
pour
can
bureau
last from
pour les services portuaires, on a 9 modules.
5 to
9 jours. Et pour
12
les cycles de
days.
perfectionnement, ce qu'on a
And
lancé jusqu'à
for
maintenant, c'est des
the
cycles de coaching. Donc, pour
perfectionment
développer la
cycle,
fonction
what
de
we
coach,
have
soit
launched up
pour
to now is to
les conseillers,
develop
soit même
the
pour les
position for the advisors.
Et aussi, on a un cycle de formation du management de projet
Also,
traditionnel.
we have a training
Et
cycle for
projet
the
agile, mais bon,
engineering and for the,
Donc, on s'appuie
and
sur le
therefore,
développement de cette compétence de
we
manière prioritaire.
support ourselves on
Pour l'école des
developing
managers,
also what
c'est
is
4 certifications similaires. Donc, on
priority
a
needs as
concernant les
for
nominations ou bien l'identification de ces personnes dans les commissions de carrière comme étant un
we
potentiel pour
have
les
some
postes managériaux. On a ainsi
we
la
have
masterclass,
some
donc 5
commissions in terms of
masterclass
career for the potential
pour
for the
acquérir
different
la première
positions. We
portion
also have some
des
masterclass
compétences
with the
managériales
5
et puis un
masterclass,
petit diplôme qu'on développe
some
avec
masterclasses in order to
avec
acquire the management
locale.
competencies.
Donc pour ainsi que 30 jours.
So
Il se base à
we
la fois
also have
sur les
then
compétences
a
managériales,
30-day cycle
techniques
based on the
et quelques
general
compétences
skills
de
and
la
the
gestion.
technical skills and some
Donc,
management
ils peuvent
skills.
aussi bénéficier des
And
cycles de
also they can
perfectionnement, que ce
benefit
soit en
from
suivant les cycles de coaching ou les
the
projets.
cycles,
En dernier
the
lieu, on a
improvement
l'école des leaders.
cycles.
Cette école aussi
And
se base sur l'aggregation de thèmes,
this
mais avec des
school
thématiques
is
différentes
also
pour
based
développer
on various
les
themes
habilités
in order to develop the particular function.
Donc, pour ça, on s'appuie sur une
So
équipe de formateurs et des personnes en ressources.
for this, we are supported
Donc, la
by
structure de
a
notre
team
équipe,
of
elle est donc, on a
trainers,
4
and
types
the architecture of our team is
d'équipes.
made
Donc,
up of
la première équipe, c'est les gestionnaires
4
permanents.
kind of
Donc,
teams.
on a
The
4
first
personnes,
team are
donc
for the permanent
une personne dédiée à chaque
managers,
secteur.
4 persons,
Et on
one
a
person
une
dedicated to
deuxième
each
team,
school,
c'est
and the second team
le métier.
is for the,
Donc, le troisième team, c'est
trainers in terms
les
of
formateurs
activities,
de formation
and trace.
transverse.
The third team is
On a
for
nos
the
leadership et RD, personnes. Et
cross-cutting
on a le dernier team,
trainings, and the
c'est les
fourth
instructeurs
team with
designers.
29
Donc, c'est
persons, and the
les
fourth team
responsables
is the
de
instructional
l'apprenticeship initial.
designers who are
En ingénierie,
in
pour la
charge
partie
of designing the
implémentation, ingénierie
apprenticeship with the engineering in terms of
en se basant sur
training,
l'identification des besoins, tout ça.
and
Donc,
also with the identification of the needs and so forth.
donc on a
So
des formateurs avec 10 ans d'expérience en
we have
planification
some
de bac
trainers
plus 5 et plus, avec des
who
certifications
can have
5
10 years experience
et
in their trade, minimum 10 years experience in their trade.
background académique.
And in terms of the
Donc, notre façon de
multidisciplinary
sélectionner
side,
les
we have
formateurs,
various backgrounds,
on a
whether
5
they're
modules.
academic or
Premier
professional
module, c'est
backgrounds.
un
In terms
module
of
de
the
formation.
program,
Le
we
deuxième,
have
c'est
several modules. The
ingénierie
first
d'apprentissage.
module
Le
is
troisième
module
module,
1
c'est
with
les
public
test
speaking.
designers.
Second
C'est
module is learning theories for
l'ingénierie
3
de
days.
compétences
The
pour
third
l'ingénierie
module is
d'apprentissage des services au
instructional
client.
design.
Et on a
Then
le
we have
quatrième
module
module, c'est le
4,
TNA,
which is the
c'est Training Needs
TNA,
Assessment,
training
donc
needs
l'ingénierie des besoins
assessment. It's over
d'information. Et le cinquième, c'est
3
le blended
days. And the
learning. Et on
fifth
a différents types de
module
formateurs.
is
Un
about the
formateur
blended
débutant et un
learning
formateur
techniques.
associé,
So we have
CCT,
some
un formateur confirmé et un formateur avancé.
trainers,
Et
starter
le maître
trainers, then we
formateur
have some
qui forme les
associated
formateurs
trainers, then
diplômés.
we have some confirmed trainers,
Donc,
and we have some
donc merci,
advanced
j'espère que
trainers
notre
and master
préparation
trainers. These are our trainers. I thank you. I hope I
modèle
didn't take
de
too much
transfert de
time,
compétences.
and
Merci beaucoup.
this
Ben,
is
je
our
pense qu'on
model
va pouvoir passer aux questions.
for
Merci pour
transferring
ces trois
skills.
présentations.
Thank you. We can
Vraiment,
now
voit,
take the
on voit qu'il y
questions.
a
Many
quelque
thanks
chose
for
en
these three
commun
presentations. We can see that there
dans
are some
les méthodes d'approche, dans
points
la
in
vision que vous
common
mettez en
within
place.
the various approaches,
On
within
retrouve
the
des notions de
engineering
partenariat.
that you
Donc,
are setting
sans
up.
plus
We can
tarder,
find some partnership notions. So
moi, j'ai
without
une
further
question à
ado,
poser, en fait,
I have
qui est
one
peut-être
question to
pour
raise, and
pour les trois
maybe this
personnes.
is for our three
C'est la question de
speakers, and
l'évaluation, parce que
this is regarding
dans chacune de
the
vos
assessment and evaluation,
de vos
because we have seen that
présentations,
in each of your presentations, There are some pathways, some journeys, but at the end, the question is, how do you validate the acquired skills and knowledge? Do you have an assessment and a verification system? I have seen that in ANAPEC, some of the pathways are certified. So maybe Mr. Jagger, can you answer? Please try to be brief. And as for the other questions that we might not have the time to deal with, as is the case for our webinars, as you know, we regroup them and then we ask afterwards each of our speakers to reply to the questions. So please don't worry, you will have your answers. But this assessment point seemed important to me, Mr. Jagger, and then afterwards, Mr. Nachit, and then Mr. Bolem. You have 1 minute, please.
I can be brief because the answer is it depends. So if you're talking about the university courses, of course, this is very highly regulated and there is a lot of testing and evaluation in place. For the leadership development part, it depends because we have competency-based assessments, and yes, they are mandatory, but at the same time, a lot of the evaluation is based on the daily routine. So it is basically the line manager's responsibility to assess the competencies and the development a trainee has during the courses.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jagger. Donc, dans cette réponse-là, on voit que le rôle des managers est important.
So we can see that the role of managers is important in assessing the skills, Mr. Nachit Abdelak. Yes, regarding this evaluation and assessment question, so we have 3 sides that we consider. The first one considers what we call how to assess what has been acquired, which means that at the end of a training, the training designer will identify some points that need to be checked in terms of the skills acquired. So the first lever will be how we can assess what has been imparted and acquired in terms of learning, and this will be through some questions to the trainees. That is the first level. The second level is through the satisfaction, which is interesting for us as actors in skills development, is to ensure that the projects that we offer can meet the needs of the users, and that there is a second axis, which is the assessment of the satisfaction of the trainee. And the third point that we have in mind today, this is how to attribute a badge that will enable a trainee that will have followed training to be able to get a badge delivered that will be recognized, and I will certify the fact that they have followed a certain training module that is still linked with some trades or some professional course that I've mentioned. Yes, Mr. Bolem. Yes, we have an assessment at the end of each module, and there is also the assessment also sometimes involving the human resources and the managers. So for the programs that are carried out with the partners, we also have an academic assessment and evaluation. So these all are 3 kinds of assessment. Thank you. I will go back to Mr. Jagger, because we have 1 question, but I think that it's the same, and you can all maybe contribute with your answers. One of the first questions that reached us is how can we cultivate a style of leadership, and we are more dealing with the expected skills for the managers, which is the balance between empathy and responsibility in order to manage the teams.
Okay, this is not a 1-minute answer.
No,
but
I know that, yes.
But I try to be brief. When I explained the leadership model, this is the very core of what we think is needed for management personnel. So we are not able to address all of these 4 quadrants of this model at the same time and the same intensity. But we expect from each and everyone with a leadership role that throughout the year, you take the time and reflect on your current job, your current responsibilities, and the surrounding situations you face, and then assess what is needed. Do I need to focus more on structure? Do I have all the results in my site? How is is my team currently situated in terms of possible learning needs? And do I have an idea of what our future business next year or in 2 years would look like? So the short part is it is the responsibility of everyone, and we do try to implement this by very structured talks with the line managers. So I have to reflect on this topic with my manager, and this is up to the C-level.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Jagger. Mr. Boland, I have another question for you. Excuse me, I switch in French. Simplement, on avait une question par rapport aux compétences.
We have a question regarding the managerial competencies and skills. We have talked about the sharpened skills for managers. Can you mention one or two very briefly that comes out from this managerial skills referential? Mr. Bourlem, are you still with us?
Oui, justement, je ne savais pas que la question
Yes, I'm here. I didn't know that the question was for me.
Donc, c'est par rapport au référentiel. Donc,
okay, so
pour la présentation de base, j'ai partagé même les modules qu'on passe pour les managers. Donc, c'est en général des formations
these are
parce que
generally some jobs trainings and trades training, because we transformed our service offer at ANAPEC. We thought that the managers also needed to have the new training offer, so we have created some modules for the managers for them to have the same level of information and training and skills as the advisors. The second side of it is with some managerial training on a daily basis, the management of conflicts. We also have a theme regarding anything to do with how to manage change, as we are all involved in change and we're supporting change. We also have a module on collaboration tools, and this is quite a technical block. And we also have a side that deals with administrative management, public markets, tenders, and the rights of public functions, and law, labor law, regarding with the public functions and how to manage the daily legal needs. So these are the three kinds of managerial competencies and skills that we offer.
D'accord. Merci beaucoup pour cette
Thank you very much for this answer.
J'ai une autre question, alors qui est plus
I have another question.
nous a été posée par nos collègues de la
It is
Turquie.
something that was asked by our colleagues from Turkey. They say, how, when reducing the work time, as you've mentioned, the question of reducing working hours, and this is a choice for some of our collaborators to try to optimize the work time. How do the managers or directors manage to improve sustainably the efficiency of the performance of the staff? So the question of balance between the reducing the time and managing performance. Who wants to answer that question? Abdelak, maybe? Yes, I can certainly answer, but I think that that question was asked following Dr. Jagger's intervention. But in any case, very quickly at France Travail, we pay a lot of attention to the quality of life at work, and especially regarding some managers who do not have to come in and just clock in every day for the number of hours and minutes worked. And the main idea is to work with them in order to enhance how we can delegate and mobilize the teams with an employer mind, in order to be able to share that leadership so that the whole of the team can contribute, so that we can be more efficient collectively. This is what I can say. Many thanks. Mr. Jagger, just a word, please. It's true the question was for you, but I thought that the three of you maybe had your own vision.
I think you already answered this perfectly, because for me, it's the main topic about this is trust and motivation. So building trust in the employees and helping them to find their inner strength and motivation is the key. So it is not about controlling and watching over the shoulder. It is about inspiring trust and motivation. And this is easier said than done. Nevertheless, the more we try to control and get a firm grip, the less motivated people will become. And this is not what a professional work environment within our organization would look like.
OK. Merci, Monsieur Jager. Merci, Monsieur Nachid, merci, Monsieur Bourlaine. Je vais repasser la parole à ma collègue Nicole qui va clôturer ce webinaire.
Thank you, Mr. Jagger. Thank you, Mr. Nachit. Thank you, Mr. Bourlaine. I will give the floor back to my colleague Nicole. Please don't hesitate. If you have some questions, please keep sending them. We will be delighted to send them to our speakers in order to get some answers. Many thanks.
Nicole, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much to all
Nicole,
of you.
the floor is
Thank you
yours.
so much. Yes, thank you so much, Thierry. So I understand that leadership and education and training of public employment staff are really also a little bit challenging in these times of digitalization, but they're doable. And all of our presenters put a lot of effort into this. So thank you so much for really preparing this presentation and giving us just a little glimpse of that and just also educating us here a little bit today. So thank you so much for doing this. Thank you all also for your questions. For tight always in time and have to end this seminar now. So any remaining questions will be hopefully then answered and sent to you soon in written form. So I think this was a wonderful and great opportunity to discover the initiatives that are done by the public employment services of Germany, Morocco, and France, just to hear a little bit about what they're doing. I know this is not all and it's not everything that you're doing, but thank you so much again for this. Also, I would like to thank our interpreters for the excellent work that they have been doing today. I know it's not always easy when we switch with the languages. Would like to thank you all for your participation and the interest in our webinars, and special thanks also to my colleague Thierry for moderating this webinar with me together. It was really wonderful. So I really hope you have enjoyed the online seminar and learned something. Before we leave, I would also like to advertise, like I always do, that we have a short survey in the end when you leaving the webinar. So please answer the questions, because it helps us also to improve and to learn from you what you would like to see next. I would also like to take shortly the opportunity to advertise our upcoming webinars for the world of PES. We have a couple of countries that will be delivering the presentation very soon, and I put it in the chat. If you don't see the link, please look also on our website at waves.org. You can see it under the activities and register for upcoming webinars. Again, thank you so much, very much to all of you for being here and bearing with us. So I wish you a wonderful day, afternoon, or night ahead of you, wherever you might be on this globe. Thank you so much.
Thank you.